now for top cop Mark Williams-Thomas, who has devoted 16 years of his life to get to the bottom of the disappearance of tragic British schoolgirl Madeleine McCann. German police believe that Madeleine is now dead, and their prime suspect is German national Christian Bruckner. But in a new documentary about the 3-year-old who vanished from her family's holiday apartment on the Portuguese Algarve in 2007, programme makers dropped this bombshell about the Portuguese cops who bungled the case from day one. I'm joined now by top investigative journalist and former copper Mark Williams-Thomas, the man best known for exposing Jimmy Savile as a paedophile. Mark, Portuguese cops have tonight come out and denied that they apologised to the McCanns. What's your reading of the situation?
Yeah, good evening, Mark. A very strange documentary. I watched it. 18 months ago, I made an investigation for Paramount TV, a 3-part investigation, and very detailed, where we looked at the Portuguese case in relation to Madeleine McCann, but also more significantly, the investigation by the Germans in relation to Christian B. I can tell you, having spoken to my contact in the Portuguese PJs, that they did have a meeting with the McCann family. It was a commission that went over there. Their understanding is very clearly that they did not apologise in relation to the case. What they did very clearly say to them is there's no longer a Portuguese investigation. This matter is now being investigated by the Germans, and very much put the responsibility over to them. So when the BBC is saying that there is very clear understanding that they apologise, that is certainly not the message that the PJ are telling me. Yes, it's not an official, but I can tell you my contact in the PJs is a very senior level, and that is their understanding of that meeting.
Mark, is there any chance, any hope that Madeleine McCann is still alive?
The chances of Madeleine alive are very, very slim. Of course, Jerry and Kate will always live with the hope that one day they will get the answers. Until such time as they have evidence to support that she's dead, which they don't have, they will, of course, live with that hope that she's still alive. Hans Walters, who is the German prosecutor, him and I don't see eye to eye, but he is very misleading in the information he's given. Let's be clear. For 5 years now, they've been investigating Christian B, and for 5 years, they have not moved any further forward. A year ago, he said that he was going to be in a position to charge Christian B just after Christmas. Now, as we approach Christmas, he's saying he hopes next year, in the early part of next year, to charge Christian B. They've got no more evidence now than they had previously. And in fact, in my Paramount investigation, we showed that the evidence they had was incredibly weak. And in fact, we were able to put forward not only information that undermined the case that they feel they have, but also show that Christian B is likely to have an alibi. Let's be very clear. Christian B is a vile individual who's committed some horrific offences against children. That does not mean to say that he should be accused of the murder of Madeleine McCann just simply because he got a nasty background. Hans Walter is a prosecutor. He's very clearly saying that in his belief, he killed Madeleine McCann. Christian B killed Madeleine McCann. Well, if you've got that evidence, then charge him. You don't have the evidence. So keep telling us that. Go and find the evidence and charge him, or shut up.
Briefly, Mark, what do you think did happen to Madeleine McCann?
Well, my belief, and I've done a very detailed investigation, I've spent hours and hours reviewing this, looked at all the case files, I've spoken, probably got more contacts than anybody else in relation to this case, having been out there, the very first investigator that really went out there. I believe that on that night that Madeleine woke up, we know she woke up on the 2 previous nights, and Jerry and Kate on the morning of her disappearance did say to her that if you wake up in the middle of the night again, we're only at the tapas bar, which is just across the walkway of the swimming pool. I believe she woke up and went looking for mum and dad. And as she walked out of the apartment, she walked out down the steps onto a public footpath before having to walk back in again. And I believe at that point she was abducted. Now, it'd be very easy to say, but what is the chance of that? You know, predatory paedophiles are incredibly rare. I've been over to the FBI and spoken to the FBI in regards to the abduction of Madeleine. And I can tell you that there are similarities in the cases that we've had, particularly with Sarah Payne and Jeanette Tate, both of those abducted and disappeared out of sight for a matter of seconds before the abductor abducted them. So these things happen in a matter of seconds. And I believe the abductor happened to be in that location. It was a predatory paedophile, abducted Madeleine. And sadly, to date, we have no further information. I mean, one of the things that's incredible, not just the position of the German authorities who are saying, 5 years on that they have their man, they haven't charged him, but let's look at the money wasted by the British.
Oh,
millions,
absolute millions.
£12 million.
Well, look, Mark, I've got to stop you there, but always a privilege to have you on the show. Mark Williams-Thomas will catch up again